Cool. What was homework? 9900? Is that what it was? Or 100? 101, 102? That sounds good. All right, a few things. I've been helping a couple of yous today, which is great. And some came yesterday as well, which is great. And you're always welcome. Coming out is old homework, so grab yours, pass on the remainder, if you don't mind. Some of you have found a square root key on your calculator, which is fantastic. But we're not always looking for the square root. So I'm not looking for you to say, hey, square root of 2 is 1.4014. Okay, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for you to realize I'm going to keep an exact answer. Okay? So let's talk about what's the big difference between an exact answer and a not an exact answer. So in the world of computers, a computer doesn't know when to stop. Okay? I think I told you about this yesterday. Like if you went and said, give me pi, or you took the circumference of any circle and you divided it by the diameter of any circle, you're going to come up with pi, which is 3.14159, and it goes on forever. It never repeats. And so the computer, being something doesn't repeat or doesn't have a pattern that it can see that it repeats, is going to continue to do iterations over and over and over again forever. Okay? Until that computer turns off, until that computer runs out of memory, all of those things. Okay? An exact answer is an answer like the square root of 5. That's exact. If you plug into a computer, hey, square root of 5, you see square root of 5? There's your answer. It stops right then and there. If you hit square root of 5 on your calculator, it's going to take it out about 10 decimal places, and then it's going to, your calculator knows to truncate off the answer or cut off the answer so it doesn't keep going. Okay, you pretty much use up all the memory real quickly on the calculators if you did that. Okay, so let's just kind of keep that in mind. So we want to keep, unless we have a perfect square under the square root sign, we want to keep it as a radical with our answer. Okay, so let me go through this. All right, what kind of questions did you come off with on 101, 102? Number 3? Okay, square root of 72, right? And I'm going to put this up here. So I got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, and 100. So that's our first 10 perfect squares. Does everyone feel comfortable how I get those? If you don't have them memorized, just realize you either go 1 times 1, or you go 2 times 2, or you go 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, so on and so forth. Cool? So what we're going to do is we want to sit there and figure out what number of these would work. And I usually start from the bottom. 100's not going to go into 72, agreed? 81's not going to go into it. 64 is smaller than it, but does 64 go in evenly? Can I go like 64 times 2 and get 72 or anything like that? No. 49 is indeed smaller than it, but 49 times 2 is 98, so that's not going to work. What about 36? 36 times what?
36 times 2.
36 times 2? Great. Cool. So 36 is our go-to. Now, some of you are looking up there going, yeah, but 9 times 8 also works. You're absolutely right, but you're looking for your largest perfect square. So I'm going to now break this up into 36 times 2. Does that seem okay? Hey, what's the square root of 36? 6. So I can find the square root of this, so that comes outside as 6. And 6 square root 2 is my answer. That is a nice, wonderful, exact answer. Okay? Yeah. 11? You got it. Number 11. Root 7 times root 7. That's a great one. Thank you for asking for this one. So you remember me saying yesterday, and maybe even the day before, you can multiply outside, outside, and inside, inside. These are both inside, right? So I can multiply them together. So if I multiply these together because they're both inside, I get the square root of 49. So what is the square root of 49? 7. So there's no radical any longer because it's a perfect square. What else? Yeah.
12.
12?
Yeah.
Root 6 times root 10. Okay. So both inside. Does that make sense if I say that? Simone?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, see one.
All right. All right. So I can multiply inside. So I'm going to get root 60. Okay. So let's think about my perfect squares. And I stopped at 64 because I don't have to go much. I don't have to go bigger. So 64 is not going to work. 49 times the number is not going to work. 36 times 2 we said was 72, so that's not going to work. 25 times 2 is 50. 25 times 3 is 75, so I don't think that's going to work. 16. 16 times 2 is 32. 16 times 3 is 48. 16 times 4 is 64. That's not going to work. Let's see. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 6 is 54. That's not going to work. Let's see. 4 times what? How much? I like it. 4 and 15 definitely works. Okay. So what's my perfect square up there? 4? What's the square root of 4? 2. 2? So I get 2 square root of 15. Done. What else? Yeah.
9.
9. 125? Root 125? That right? That right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put my perfect squares up there. Let's see. I got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. I could go a little further. I could say 121. That's 11 times 11. Okay. So I think we've gone far enough to see what might work. 121 times a number is not going to give me 125, nor is 100 times a number going to give me that. 81 times 2 is 162. That's not going to work. 64 times 2 is 128. Oh, that's close, but not close enough. 49 times 2 is 98. 49 times 3 is 147, so that's not going to work. 36 times 2 is 72. 36 times 3 is 108. 36 times 4 is 144. No, it's not going to work. You see how I'm kind of doing some mental math? Now, I'm good with double to single digit multiplication because, one, I've been teaching a long time and I've been doing it. So you might know it always be what I would do if I were you, using a calculator, go 125 divided by 36. If it doesn't come out to a perfect number, go to the next one. And then 25. 25 times what? 5. Yeah. 25 times 5 is 125. What's the perfect square up there? What's the perfect square?
25.
25. So square root of 25 is?
5.
5. And then I'm left with a root 5. Done.
Oh.
What else would you like to see? You feel comfortable? You good? Happy? Okay, take a look at your paper. Look at the top of your paper right now. Make sure your name's on it. And when your name is on it, pass that as well as anything else forward you might be handing on up, if you don't mind. Yeah, but yeah, you're perfect. That's the exact answer. Yeah, good job. Because that's the exponent in 1/2, right? Square root in 1/2. Love it. Homework? Coming. Coming. 2, 3, 1, 2, Yes, good guy. We'll get you caught up, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. All right. All right. So, all right. So that clearly isn't me as a math teacher because that dude has way more hair. And I don't wear sweater vests. And it's pretty rare if I wear a tie. So we can't say that's me. All right, so we're kind of approaching this the same way we've been doing all of them. Let's make sure we feel comfortable with it. Hey, we just did root 125, right? And we saw that that was 25 times 5. So that gives me 5 root 5. We just did that, right? And then number 2, outside to outside we can multiply. And we can also multiply inside to inside. But I'm going to start steering us a little bit. Is that okay to steer you a little bit? I totally agree I'm going to have 10 outside. Does everyone feel comfortable with that? And this is going to kind of incorporate into today's. Okay? Break down 15 for me. What times what gives me 15?
5 times 3.
3 and 5? Thank you for not saying 1 times 15. So 3 times 5. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
20 is the same thing as 2 and 10. Is that right? Can I go with 2 and 10? So if 20 is the same thing as 2 and 10, can I break 10 down any further? 2 and 5. 2 times 5. Okay, so if I go 3 times 5 times 2 times 2 times 5, I get 15 times 20. I get the same thing. And 15 times 20 is 300. But that's it broken down. Now I want you to think about this. Let's think just a little deeper about what the square root is. I'm taking the square root. So if we want just something simple, we can, I think everyone here can say square root of 16. Agree? Cody.
4.
That's 4. Do you agree? Everyone agrees it's 4. So everyone's probably saying, dude, that's 4 all day long. I got you. But isn't that the same thing as 4 times 4?
Yeah.
So how many 4s do I have up there? 2. I'm taking the square root, right? And remember I said the square root, we actually have this imaginary 2 that kind of hangs out up there. So that means we're looking for 2 of a kinds. Okay, so let's just kind of embed a little bit deeper. So I'm looking for 2 of a kinds. So the 10 is going to stay as is for right now. Does everyone agree that I have 2 of those? And I also have 2 of those? Because 5 times 5 is what? 25. And the square root of 25 has to be what? 5. And then 2 times 2 is 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So what do you think, by just looking at that, just not doing a lot of work, what do you think is still left under the square root side? What's going to be left inside? 3. So root 3 is inside. Nothing else there. Nothing else. Okay? So 5 times 5 is 25. So the square root of 25 is? 5. I also had a 10 out there already. So I have 10 times 5. And then 2 times 2 you said was 4, and square root of 4 I said was 2. Now look at everything in here is outside. Agree? So 10 times 5 is 50. 50 times 2 is 100. But it's already, I don't have to take the square root of it because it's already outside. So I get 100 square root 3. Okay, so it's a little different way of kind of bending into it, but I think some of you will start seeing it. Yeah?
I don't understand how the 10, or I mean, how the 5 and the 2 get on the outside.
Okay, so 2 times 2 is underneath, right?
Yeah.
So just focus on that 2 times 2.
Okay.
2 times 2 is 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Square root of 4 is?
2. No, I don't know.
You said right?
2.
You see where the 2 is on the outside now?
Oh, yeah.
5 times 5 is what?
25.
Square root of 25 is?
5.
Where's that 5 now?
Okay.
That's exactly why. That's what I'm trying to. That's a huge thing. That's a leap to see right there. Good job. Oh yeah.
Joe's here.
What up, Cups?
How's it going?
What are we doing here?
What do you feel like doing? Are you doing which quiz?
I was gonna do the practice
capstone.
Are you serious? Grab a Chromebook.
I'm a little bit behind here, so. Those snow days were not good.
Hey, but we'll never pass on the opposite side.
Wrong side.
Just taking the wheels off and stuff. Can't get it open. All right, let's do the same thing to this one. Same thing, okay? So let's go through this gradually. So I'm going to keep that 2 outside. Agreed? And then let's do this. Let's start breaking down 72. 72 is the same thing as 2 times what?
Oh, I need to go get my glasses changed, dude. I need to get in your business outfit. I'll be right back.
6th.
It's more important.
6th.
It's more important than this.
2nd semester.
Got it.
Sweet.
Mr. Burrow, right?
Yeah, just call me Cupcake. Hey, Drew, go at that end. I'm just kidding. Don't. No.
You want that noise to be going on the next 30 minutes?
Doesn't bother me. All right, so 2 times what gives me 72? 36. What's special about 36? Yeah, it's a perfect square, right? So I'm not going to break 36 down for right now because I know the square root of 36 is?
6.
6, yes.
Should I change college algebra or probability and stat?
Go with change college algebra. No, you'll be good. Keep college algebra first semester. Second semester, business calc.
Perfect. Thank you. You're the man.
All right. All right. So do we feel comfortable with that move right there? 18 is the same thing as what? 2 times what?
9.
Hey, what's special about 9?
Perfect square.
Perfect square, right? All right, so I have a 2 outside, right? So square root of 36 is?
6.
So now 6 is outside. Agreed? Square root of 9 is what? 3. Oh, wait a minute. 2 times 2 is what?
4.
What's the square root of 4?
1.
Anything left inside?
No.
Ain't nothing there anymore. Okay, so everything's just outside. So 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. 36 times 2 is 72. You see how I'm kind of breaking those down? Okay, it's just a little different way of thinking. I'm just trying to build the brain up a little bit. I think we'll be okay. And we're gonna apply that to our next problem. What's outside my problem right now? 2 and
5.
So what's going to be outside technically? 10? Everyone feel good with that? So outside, I have 2 and 5. I got 2 and 5, so I got 10. All right, let's take a look inside. Let's break 12 down. Is there a perfect square that works with 12? 4 and 3. Good. 4 and 3. And 4 times 3. And then I have that x. And then I have this 3 and this x. Ooh. Okay. I think we might be onto something. Hang on. I think we can figure this out.
Wait, I'm confused on what a perfect square is.
Okay, perfect square. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 is a perfect square.
Wait, then how is 4 times 3 a perfect square?
It isn't, but 4 is one of the perfect squares, and then 3 is a prime number.
Okay.
So we're just looking to see if, do we have a perfect square that could be multiplied together? Do I have 2 numbers, one of them being a perfect square I can multiply together to get that bigger number? That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, go.
Okay, wait, on the last one, I'm confused. So when you like put them outside of the bracket, is it because the square root of 9 is 3,
3,
right? Okay, and then so 2.
So this came here.
But
this 2 was the original 2. Square root of 9 is 3, and then I still had this 2 and this 2.
no, I know, yeah, but how do you know when you multiply them together and when you don't?
If something comes outside, it gets multiplied by whatever's out there already.
No, I mean like on the inside, because you multiplied both the 2's together to get 4 to get a perfect square 2. So why wouldn't you like multiply 9 and 2?
Oh, because 9 and 2 gives me 18, and that's not a perfect square. But
So you-
9's a perfect square, so we don't want to do anything with it. We want to take the square root of it.
Okay, so you only multiply them if it's to make it.
All right, ready? Let's see if we can figure this one out. I think we can do this. So the 10 stays outside. Agreed? Square root of 4.
2.
That's outside now. Agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, wait a minute. I have a 3 and a 3, and 3 times 3 is,
9.
and the square root of 9 is?
3.
What about x times x?
That's x squared.
X squared. What do you think the square root of x squared is?
1.
X.
X.
Yeah.
X. So you mean to tell me I could have a variable that's a perfect square? What kind of sick world are we living in? So the square root of x times x is x. Is there anything left inside? It's gone. Multiply outside. 10 times 2, 20. 20 times 3, 60. Times x. There is no longer a square root sign because we had all perfect squares inside of our problem. Whew. Okay, so now let's kind of break it a little bit. We'll be okay. So let's take a look at this one. Talk to me about square root of 4. 2. Wait a minute. Square root x squared.
2x.
2x. I don't have, so everything's outside? And there's no square root sign? It's done. Done. So if you want to think about what that really is 4 is 2 times 2, and x is x times x. So underneath that I would have had 2xx, and I'm looking for pairs. Pairs are perfect squares. Huh. Can we move on? Anything else on that sheet that I should know about? Okay. All right. Help me out. It's just x. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's see if we can step upon this. What do you think? Ooh, do we have a second? What do you think? X squared?
Yeah.
I think he's right. Want to know why he's right? It is indeed x squared. But I just want to show you what this is. This is the same thing as x squared and x squared. Agreed? So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of x squared is x, and x times x is? X squared. What do you think about that other one? X cubed. Absolutely, this is x cubed. All right, so again, let's think about what this is. This is the same thing as x squared times x squared times x squared. Okay? Square root of x squared is x. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of x squared is x. So I have x times x times x outside, which is x to the third. That wasn't too tough, I don't think. I don't think I'm crying myself to sleep about that one tonight. Other stuff maybe, but not that one. If you're crying yourself to sleep, you're in a good, healthy relationship with yourself. It releases endorphins. It's good for you. Okay. Ooh. This one changed a little bit. Do you think x to the third is a perfect square?
No.
No. But let's think about what this could be broken down to. Could I break this down to this?
Yes.
What's my perfect square in there?
2.
X squared, right? So what's the square root of x squared? So x comes down. And then what do I have left behind?
2.
X. X root x. Or x squared x. What'd they say?
I got to meet with her Friday. I said, "What?" They said, "What's your name?" I said, "Andrew Watson." She said, "Oh, and you can meet with her on Friday." All right.
Man. All right. What about this one? So what do you think?
Yes.
Could this break down to this? X to the first is the same thing as x, right? What do you think? Does that break down to that, you think? Square root of this is what? X. Square root of this is what? X times x outside is?
X squared.
What's left behind? X or X to the first. What do I want you to put? I don't care. X or X to the first. That's 1, but that's for next year.
I hate how it made me change my password, man. I've been typing that thing in for 8 years.
I do that for Spanish last year.
You know what? Your password should be Mr. Stirrup is awesome.
That's what it was, and they made me change it.
Then just change it. Mr. Stirrup is very
Say
awesome.
Chris is awesome. See that?
I used to, when I was teaching in Nevada, when they first started getting computers in the classroom, I used to have my password be a bad word. So I didn't think anyone could do it. And the IT guy sends me an email. He goes, "Can you explain why your password's a bad word?" I sent him back and said, "Yeah, I think it's funny." Please don't have your password be a bad word. Why? It's my password.
What did he say?
What about the orange story?
It's coming.
They haven't even heard of the orange story yet?
No.
No.
Oh, that sucks.
It's a great story.
All right. Let's see if we can break this one up. Okay. Oh, no. Hey, what's a perfect square that works with 20?
4 and 5.
4 and 5. I like it. So let's break this down to this times this. Is that okay so far? And then x to the 7th is x squared, and x. Square root of that.
2.
Do I know the square root of 5? No, it's got to stay inside. What's the square root of that? Square root of that. Square root of that. X times x times x. X to the 3rd cubed. And then I'm left with, what's still left inside?
X.
5 and an x. Done. That's it. It's an exact answer. Exact answer. Can I move on? How much more we got? We got that, and that, and that.
5.
Oh, okay. 4. Cool. All right, we're moving on. Ooh. Hey, 36. Talk to me about 36. What's the square root of 36? 6. Yeah, buddy. Hey, what is the square root of x squared? X. Uh-oh. Now we have y. Well, the rules are still the same, whatever letter it is.
Oh, what is it? Just Y?
Y is going to come outside, and what stays inside? A y. And the reason for that is y squared y. Cool?
Why?
Because. Here's my answer. It's done. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. I like that. I'll tell you. Yeah, good
Is it
stuff.
a log review or polynomial review?
Well, you already passed the polynomials. Remember, you got the perfect
Dude,
score on it
barely.
there, Cupcake.
You got a perfect score.
Yeah, you remember you said, hey, you got to hit enter. I hit enter, you get a perfect score.
So, well, that's what they're always doing.
So I'll hit enter on that one, too.
He chooses one kid to take the answer key, and it's me. So I have 100% of this.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's the answer key for all the tests.
Yeah, that's why nobody does well, because I don't have any of the answers right, but I get them all right, so it's fine.
So I'll be creating this test going, okay, he has an answer of cupcake. That must be right. All right, let's take a look at this one. Ooh, what's a perfect square that works in 200? It might be big.
100.
100, totally. Because 10 times 10 is 100, right? So let's take a look at this. I have 100 times 2. Now some of you might be going, yeah, but 4 times 50 works. Good. But 100 is our biggest perfect square. And then a squared. So I'm going to keep a squared like that for right now. I'm going to go b squared b, because b squared b is b to the 3rd. And then I have c squared, c squared, c squared. Okay, walk with me on this. Square root of this.
10.
Square root of this.
A.
Square root of this.
B.
Square root of this.
C.
Square root of this.
C.
CC, so that's c squared. What's left behind?
B2.
2, good. And what else?
B.
B, anything else?
No.
Perfect. Yo. You done?
No, I'm just kidding. I gotta go get lunch. We got this thing like English tomorrow. That we're
Oh,
going to downstairs.
story
We get
time, huh?
excused.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna go in third period tomorrow.
All right.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, works for me.
Not bad.
All right, CK. All right. Last slide, right? Oh, yes. We can get this. All right. Let's see. Let's break 18 up. What's the perfect square that works with 18? 9?
Yeah.
All right. So I get 9 times 2. All right. So I'm done with that. But let's go to the 10 now. Is that okay? Does 10 have any perfect squares in it? 5's not a perfect square. But what would break down 10? 10 and 1, and also
Sorry.
2 and 5. Did you just uncover a perfect square underneath? There it is, right there. Look at that. Okay. Ooh. Oh shoot. Let's see. X to the third, X to the fifth. Oh my gosh. Okay. That means I have X to the 8th underneath. If I put these together, that gives me X raised to the 8th power. That's supposed to be an 8. Which is X squared, X squared, X squared, and X squared. Because 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Good? Okay. And then Y squared is a perfect square. And then Y.
How long does it take to take capstone?
Longer than this period. Or longer than what we have left. All right. Square root of this is? Square root of that. Get it?
Well, I'm in no rush.
3. Square root of this is?
4.
So square root of 4 is? 2. Cool. So there's 2 outside now. Looks like that 5 is going to be left behind. Square root of this? Square root of this? Square root of this? Square root of this? X times X times X times X? X to the 4th. Love it. X to the 4th is outside. Square root of this?
Y.
Y. Good. What's left underneath?
5 and Y.
5 and a Y. Put that together so I get 6 X to the 4th Y square root 5 Y. Perfect. Oh, thanks, Tristan. All right. Those are good. Wow. Wow. So I'd say that the homework is probably. Yes, please. Thank you. It's going to be 103 and 104. Page 103 and 104. And I want you to do it the same way. And you know what time it is?